Okay, so we're gonna draw this part right here,
today is draw out
and we're gonna do this by
this
creating a
drawing here.
Start with the front view. We're
which
not
is
gonna
gonna
use
be-
the shaded in area,
almost looks
the
like a keyhole.
centered lines yet. We'll
We're gonna
leave
start
that
with
to
the
the
red line.
end.
That's
So
the main
everything
one.
in
We can
dark
offset these
lines
parts
is
to
the
a
first
2D
part
drawing.
what we're gonna be drawing.
And then we can do the 3D.
So you
which
should have
is
the
pretty
PDF
simple.
set up.
It's pretty
You
much
can have it
create a
printed.
circle
If
and using
you
the
like to
above
print it,
command.
please do so. That makes it easier
So-
for you. Basically, we're gonna use line commands
So
and
basically,
create
what we want to do
these
is create a
parts.
circle.
So we're gonna
But
go
before
to
we
our
do that, I want to make sure that I
new
create that
title
circle
block,
at the
and
0,
we're gonna
0
start our drawing.
coordinate
So we
system.
go home. We start with our
To
line
do that,
commands,
sometimes the easiest way would be to go to
and
line
we start
command,
at 0, 0. So
type in
line
0, 0,
0, 0.
that's where my line starts, and I click
Now,
anywhere on the screen.
it may be starting
gives
from
me
a
a
different spot,
beginning
so
of
just
0,
click on
0
it,
to
zoom
whatever
out,
point I
you'll
clicked
see
on
where
the
0,
screen.
0 is, and you can start
Now I
it
have
again.
the center of my
It happens
origin,
sometimes.
which
So
is
I
0,
see
0,
my X
where
and
I
Y
can start
coordinate
drawing my
system. If you don't
circle.
see it, again,
I use the
just
circle
click
command,
line 0, 0,
select the origin
0,
or
0,
the endpoint. If you do not
enter,
see that endpoint,
place
what
it
you want
somewhere,
to
and you'll
do
see where
is
your
right-click
0, 0 is.
on your OSNAP.
Again,
Make sure you
line
have
0,
endpoint turned
0.
on. And if
Make
if
sure
you're
your
in this
ortho is
place
on.
at the same time, you might as well turn
And
on
we're going to
midpoint.
start by going
center.
across 1.5
You don't need nod.
based on the front view of the drawing.
Intersects pretty good, and
So I have
perpendicular
to zoom
is
in because
pretty
my drawing is a little
good too.
it was zoomed
So
out
you
too
need all
much.
those.
That happens. We go up 1,
I'm
and
drawing
we go across
on B-size paper.
1.12.
Well, no, the drawing I have.
I got that
B-size
dimension
template.
by doing a little bit of
I'm
math.
drawing on a model.
If you look at the drawing,
Always draw on a model.
That's one here.
I recommend.
If I subtract
Circle,
2.62 from
select
1.5,
at
I'll have the
endpoint.
distance here.
You can see that it snaps on and even specifies that
So
it is an
if you
endpoint.
don't want to do the math, you
That's
can just draw a
snapping
line all the way across
I click,
to this point, so you know
move
exactly
my mouse, and we're going to
where
type
it
in the
begins.
dimension.
So if I did
which
not like
is,
math, and math didn't like me,
radius of 114.
I would instead draw a line from 0, 0
So I'm guessing
across
this is millimeters, but
2.62.
we can work with that.
I would go up 1 inch.
And so right now we are
and
set at
I'll
radius.
connect it,
That's our
making sure my
default. If
quadrants
we
to
want to
my
type in diameter, we would
OSNAP
click
is
here at
on.
diameter or type in
So
D enter.
OSNAP objects are
And
on,
we're going
so
to
I
type
can
in as
snap into an
114.
endpoint
as
of the other
specified.
line. Then this line is
So
no longer needed.
we have it
I
at
can
the
delete
0,
it. And I
0
have that
coordinate
first
system.
beginning.
So this line is no longer needed.
From there,
It
I
was
keep
used just
going.
for reference or for construction.
Same
if you want to call it that.
distance as this
I'm gonna
first
delete
line,
that
so it's
line.
1.5.
So I selected the item, right?
And it's 2 inches high
delete.
total.
Your other option
Now, I'm not
is
sure
to
how long
select
this
the item,
total
right-click,
is.
and
I mean, it
erase.
shows on the drawing.
Raise,
If you go here on top view, it shows you 4.12 is the total. But if you don't know that, you can always draw a line up
or
here,
you can do
2 inches, and connect these
1.14.
top.
But then every time I
So,
give you a number, you'll
I
have
draw
to
a
fill
line
in
from the
point
0,
there.
0 going up 2, and I connect it to close it. So that is my front view.
Next step will be to create this.
Next point would be to create my top view. What we always recommend in
this drawing
engineering
specifies
is to have
303, but we're going to do a 3.03.
the top view aligned with the front
which is
view
moving
and
2
the right
decimal
view.
points for
To
everything.
do that,
so
I just
it
draw
was
a line
114,
from one of these endpoints,
1.14.
about a distance of 2.
So now
that will be my spacing from my front view to my top view.
Circle.
And from that one point, I'm going to start drawing the top view,
center
which is
should
a
be
box
shown,
that is
even
4.12 across.
If you don't have that on, again, right-click on OSNAP, make sure your center is active, and if that is
so
active,
we have the 4.12, and we're going to give it the
you
full
won't be
depth,
able to snap it
which
to the center
doesn't
of the circle.
specify on the top view of the
We
drawing.
select the center of the circle. We make
here,
a vertical
but
line.
it does
right now,
show
you
it
can
up
see that my
on the
line
right
is not
side here, which is
vertical,
total depth is
90 degrees.
2.24.
So I have to make sure
So
my
we have the
ortho
4.12 that we just did,
allowing me to
this
make
line right here will
90
be
degree
2.24.
And we go up
So I create the line 2.24, and again, I'm going to go across 4.12.
States.
That should allow me to close
Second,
my
we need
box.
a circle up here,
and I have
actually,
my
it's gonna
top
be
view.
0.27
This line is no
radius.
longer needed. It was just for reference, so I can
That's
delete
our next
that.
step. We do a
I have my top and front.
We select the
front and my
endpoint.
top.
Again, it has
But
to
in addition to that, on the top, I also need to create a few circles and
0.27.
looks like these lines here.
I'm sorry.
Actually, yeah, these cross lines right here.
0.27.
From the top,
Actually,
I see this
what I just realized is we're drawing inside
and
circle,
this cut
which is
open
fine.
area. This is
Not
the
a big
open
issue.
area.
We just got to
So we have to
offset
show
each
that in a physical
Now, I'll give you guys specific
outline.
dimensions for that too.
Now, we don't have the thickness here, but we do
this
have
is
it
the
here
original
on the
drawing.
side. It specifies 0.5.
We have a
So
dimension
what we
here.
can do actually is we
That's
can use the
0.26
offset
and
command,
another 0.28.
or you can draw a line 0.5 and then draw across.
should be
So
the
that's
same.
2 steps.
So we'll just do the first
We'll
one,
use
0.26.
offset instead. Type in 0.5.
So we have something like this.
And we're
The
going to
center
offset
line is no
from
longer
this side
needed.
and from this side.
Just
in,
first reference to give us the
giving us
location for the second
what
circle.
those 2 lines that are shown
What we
here.
need to do next is
This
create
one and
lines
this one
from the
completed.
quadrants of
In
this
addition to
top
that,
circle,
we need to create
going
these 2
directly
lines,
down.
which is the cut
To do
open,
that,
which is
you want to
1.5
make sure your
on
O
this
snap
side and 1.5
quadrant's
on
on.
this side. Gives
Right
us
now
that
mine's
cut
off.
open.
Not sure you guys can see it. It's not
To
highlighted.
do that,
So
you
I'm
can also
turning it
use
on.
offset,
Now it's on.
which is going to be
Now I
1.5.
use the line command.
We offset this line
Scroll my
across
mouse
and this line
next to
across
the
from
end,
this side.
like, there is no end
When
point
we
for a
do
circle,
this,
but it's a
the
quadrant,
line is
left
overextended.
quadrant.
Since this
That's
line
the
is
right
completely
So we're going to
full
start with
length,
the left one.
it
go
will
directly
offset
straight
full length.
down,
So we will need to
making sure
trim it
ortho
off
was
from
on.
these two parts right
Doesn't
here
matter
and the
what
bottom
distance,
2
as
parts.
long as it's
To do that,
past the
we use our
second
trim
circle.
command.
And we're going to
We
do both
select
sides
trim,
like
we
that.
select the entire object. That is
So
the
you should
easiest
have
way
something
to
like
use
this.
trim. When you select the
Done.
item, it's going to ask you, would you like to select any more objects? No, that's all I need. So I click space or enter,
we want to do
and I
is
remove the
use
lines
trim
I
command.
do not need.
Now, to use the trim command, I
Like
always
so.
recommend selecting
Alright,
everything.
so
You go to trim,
Alright,
You select
so
the
I
entire
have this
object,
top view.
if
What I
not
want to do
more.
is create these
you
circles.
click enter or
I
space
have
to
specified
specify
distance
that
of
you do not
0.75
want
to
to
the center of
select
the
any
circle.
more items.
So my option
And
is
then you
I can
select
offset
things you
this
want
line.
trim, which is going to be the top circle. We're
Actually,
trimming
both
this
of them
a little.
because both of them are
And we're trimming these
7.75 from
parts
the
right
edge.
here. We end
Or
up
I can
with
draw a
keyhole,
line.
just like this.
I'm using the offset command, so
Our
I
next
offset
step will be to
0.75
create a fillet from this
this
corner
line
here.
across.
Now, the drawing
and this
doesn't
line
specify
across
that,
this way.
which is an issue.
Now the
which I
center
should've
line
done,
of the
checked.
center point of this line will be the
But
circle.
we're gonna create a
As you can see, it shows that it's 1.12,
dimension which
which
find
is
out
half of
exactly
that,
that radius.
which is
It's
actually
gonna
center.
be 1.62.
Kind of obvious, but if you need to check,
So we go
that's
back
how
to
you
our
check
drawing.
it. So the midpoint
We go
of this
to
line
fillet
is where a
command.
circle should be.
It's gonna be
To
1.62.
select that midpoint, I have to make sure
Enter.
my
We select
O
this
snap
line,
midpoint is
this
on.
line,
If it's not, make
and we
sure
do the
it's on
same
right
thing
now.
on the other side. Now, if that looks
So
too
it's
small
on.
for you,
I
and
use
you
my
want to change it,
Circle
I'll be more
command.
than happy
I select that
to let you
midpoint.
change that.
Triangles
Not
should
sure
show
why
up,
mine was such a
and
small
even
one.
shows me
I
it
did have
specifies says
1.62.
midpoint, which is
I can
exactly
check
what
this
I need.
again by going to my
Click that
annotate
point. It creates a circle.
dimensions. I'm gonna
The
check
radius
it. Actually, it
of
came
that
out wrong.
actually
I don't know,
shows
it's
diameter of
0.25 for
0.5.
some
So let's
reason.
do
So I'm gonna
diameter.
delete
So we
these.
type in D, enter. We type
I'm
in
gonna do that
0.5,
again. Go to fillets.
and then
Make sure that I have radius selected. So
no,
I type
diameter
in
is
R, enter, or
0.5.
select.
like I specified. If you look at the drawing
Okay.
where it says diameter of circle, it is 0.5.
Fillet,
There's two places.
R for radius.
So
or
we
you type
select
in
this
R,
circle.
enter,
We can make a
and you
copy
type
of
in
it. Instead of drawing another
radius
circle, we're just gonna make a
was
copy. So you go to copy command.
1.62.
You select the center of that circle,
So
and you just copy it over
1.62.
to
Enter.
perpendicular when it hits that line, because that is
Recreate
exactly
that.
the center, the midpoint of that
Looks
line.
way better than before.
So now
And
that
we
we
have our
have that,
keyhole.
these lines can be deleted. They were just there for reference.
So what we want to do next,
And we have completed our top view.
we're going to offset
without the dash lines, of
these
course.
lines
There
to
are dash
create
lines that we want to place in later on.
the center line,
Center
and the
lines and
outer
the
line.
dashed hidden
First
lines.
off, we're going to
We'll get
offset
into that later. But
0.26.
now, let's go to our
Twice, actually.
side view.
To do that,
Now, looking at this side
you
view,
go to your
there's
offset
actually
command,
a
which is right here.
mistake in it. Or actually,
go
is it-
offset. You're going to type in the
Is it
distance
a
of
mistake?
0.26.
I believe so. This line should not be solid.
And you're going to select these
This line
lines.
should not
you're
even
just gonna
exist.
Off some out. So you have to
Not
point
sure
on the
why it
outside
does.
of the
Is
key.
there a reason why it's not?
Otherwise, it will offset inside, which we
Let's
don't
check.
want to
I'm
do.
gonna rotate
Once you
this
do that
around.
once, you do it again.
Okay, let me go mine.
That would create the two that there was no reason for exterior lines that we're
That
looking
line
for.
right here. So somebody made a mistake on
And
this
at that
drawing.
point, we also
should
changed
not
these
have
lines, the
that.
center lines, from object lines to center lines. I think this was Alan Rosen's drawing. So you go to your layers, and we change it to center. Should be red, usually.
Because I
or
can
yellow.
tell that he drew this
Those
on
are
the
usually
paper.
preferred colors
Anyways.
for center lines. So we're going to design this part right here.
Basically, it's 2.24
Now, at this
across,
point,
and the
You
height
can
is
put
2
the
inches
annotation
basically.
from the top of all the
front view.
specified sizing. Again,
It's up to
draw
you
a
how you want
reference
to do
line
that. If you
to
want to
help me
start with
coordinate
the
where to place
my side view,
center.
I'm going to do a
Just
2
do a
inch
thickness,
gap,
which is
2 inch
usually what
space.
we want to do. So
we
you
can
got to do
call
the
it.
center,
And then we're going to start drawing
as
from this point.
specifying
We're
the
gonna go up
distances, diameters, and
We're going to go
radiuses of
across
everything.
0.5.
So you're
go
going to need
down
all these.
1.25.
I'm going to change
I
my
can stop there
my
and then start from the bottom now. The bottom
dimension
all the way
style
across
because
is 2.24.
it's showing these
I
marks a
go
little
up
bit too
2
big.
again, across
So-
0.5,
Sure, just give me a second.
and
here.
down 1.25.
So I'm going to format
Now all I
dimension
have
style.
to do is snap onto this
You guys don't
endpoint
have
here
to do
and I
this.
close my object, giving
I
me the
do,
exact shape I'm
So
looking
I need
for.
to change the marking size.
So we
Right.
have our actual solid lines complete. What we can do next is we can create
Don't worry about I'm just doing it for
the
myself.
center lines or the hidden
So it looks
lines.
better.
We're going to end up with
So make
hidden
sure you have
lines
all the
first.
dimensions.
So
As you can see,
that
I am
there's
probably
two
missing
different
one,
line
which you may not have
layers
caught,
types.
which is
For this
the
drawing,
distance
there is
between
the
the two
hidden,
circles,
and there is the center line.
which is 3.03.
Center line helps
we
you
agreed with.
specify the
So that
location of circles usually.
Gives us the full size of the
So
drawing.
that is
We know
useful,
the
but
radius
we'll
of this,
use
this,
the hidden
this,
line
this.
first.
But there's one more
So
thing we need to know.
I'm going to
is
turn
the
off
thickness
the
of
center
blue
line,
lines. We
center
know
line
the
here,
size of the red one, which is the center,
so that you
but
guys
we don't
can
know
see
how thick
which
this
lines
material
we need.
is.
We
So
need all these
creating
red
one
lines.
dimension gives you a full thickness
So
of it. Will help
basically,
the
we're
next
just going to
person
follow what we have
designing
here.
this or making
Go back
it
to
in
our
the
drawing.
shop,
Start from our
know
top.
what size you're looking
We're
for.
going to change our layer. Since
as
now
you
we're
make
going
this
to be
wire.
only drawing
Call it a wire.
hidden lines. So
Each dimension
HID is
from
a
this line to this
shorthand for hidden.
endpoint to endpoint.
And I'm going to
we'll
start
give you
drawing
that
these hidden
thickness.
lines.
You can also do it on the other
Maybe
side.
a little bit different
anywhere
from
else.
the original.
Really, you can
That's
even
alright.
dimension from circle to circle.
These
You
are my
get
hidden
52.
lines.
But that's harder
In
to
addition to
understand.
these hidden
This is a
lines,
lot
it also
easier.
shows
So that's why I prefer doing it from
drawing.
vertical
It
lines
also
or
shows
horizontal
this
lines.
hidden line for a bore,
of circles.
C-bore.
Kind of hard to show thickness.
So there's
on
actually a
circle.
borehole.
These are all the
at
dimensions you really
0.44
need to
teeth,
create this drawing.
which is a little more
And
complicated,
especially
but
since we
all
were
we have to
missing
do is
them
draw
from the
a
original.
circle now in
This
this
is
new
good to
layer
have.
with
So
a
if anybody
diameter
wants to
of
design this again in the future,
0.75.
we'll have the exact
So we go to
correct
circle command,
dimensions.
we select the center,
I'll make sure to save
and
this
we
as a
type in
PDF for future
diameter
reference. To
0.75.
create the 3D object, we will make a copy
Technically,
of
if
this
we are
entire
making
object,
these circles the same,
including
these
the
holes
dimensions if you
exactly
have
the
to.
same, which it
So you
specifies
go to
two
your
places,
home
but
tab,
I'm not
you
sure
go
if
to
this
copy,
borehole is on
you
both
copy from
spots.
any
It looks like it's only
location
specified
here,
for one,
just
and only
about
shows a dashed
there.
line for
I mean, it
one,
doesn't have
hidden
to be
line
too
for
far,
one. So
as long
we'll
as
just
it
do
doesn't show
as
up
it
in the
shows. So one of these
viewport,
holes has
which we'll
a
get into
borehole,
later.
C borehole.
And
The
you
other one
delete the
does
dimensions
not,
because you no longer need
but they're
those.
both
And you have two
0.5
drawings, one
diameter
with dimensions,
all the way
one
through.
without. Once everybody's cut up
Now
to this,
we
we
completed
will
that first
make
top
this
view.
the 3D
You can go to the front view
Alright, so this
and
part will be
design
the
this. You can even see
probably
that
the
the
very
left side
advanced
shows a
part,
borehole,
really hard,
the
so
right
please
side does not.
keep note of
So
this.
that was correct
Everybody, even
assumption
though
for me.
advanced people,
One of them only gets a borehole,
what
the
we
other
want
doesn't.
to do is we want to create
We'll
this
go with the right
segmented
side
line.
first.
You can see
It's
each
the
part
easiest,
is separate
so we'll
into
start
one
there.
single line.
To get that
To
line
do that,
across,
we need to use the
you-
polyline edit
if you look at the
command,
right view,
which is called,
that is
in
the line
short,
that's
is
going across.
P-edit.
This is the hidden line.
So there is no tool for
That's
that.
where we
We
get the
actually have to
hidden line.
type it out.
So
you type
we
in
use the line command.
P-edit.
You move your mouse without clicking on it at the end point of this line,
So if you
and
see
you
it
slowly
on
move
board,
your mouse
where
across,
my command
following
bar,
this
typing
dashed
in
line.
P-edit.
You might need some practice,
Another
and it will
thing
help you get to
is
the
that
insert
you do not have
intersect.
to select the command
which is
bar
exactly
to
what I
type
need.
in things.
If you
All
don't
you
have
have to
the
do is just
intersect
type it
command,
as is.
that's
You
alright.
want to click
Right
down
click,
here,
make sure
type
it is
stuff in your
on.
command bar.
Intersect.
That's the old school way. This is the new school, which is 2000.
So again, to get that line,
just
that
type it out.
dashed line here,
Saves you
what
time.
I need to do is use the line
So you
command.
type in P-edit.
I move
click
my mouse
enter.
over here to this.
You type
this
in
line,
you select
I just
M for
move it
multiple. You type
slowly
in
following
M,
that line.
enter.
You
Select
see that
all
green dotted
parts
line
of
that
this
will ensure that it's
center line.
following it.
Do not
until
skip
I
any.
hit
There's 1,
The
2,
intersect
3, 4,
select that, and then I
5, 6
perpendicular
parts.
to. So unless you don't
Click
have this
enter.
on, it should work.
It's going to ask you, do you want to convert
We do the same
lines,
thing on the
arcs,
other
and
side.
lines to polylines?
So
the
we go
default
to
is
the
set
line,
at yes,
move over
so
here,
you just click
we
enter.
follow through with it.
Next part is you type in
Just
J
like that.
for join. You want to join these polylines
So we have those
together.
new line.
They're still separate little pieces. You
Next
wanna put them
part.
together, so we're
It's a
gonna
little
put
harder to
J
do it for long
join.
distances, like
type
from the
that in.
circle all the way down. So we're just gonna create
The
a
entering
line.
fuzz distance.
I have quadrant
Do not
on.
worry
If you don't
about
have that on,
That
you
is
need to turn
too
that on.
advanced.
Right click
So
on
we
O
just
snap.
click enter.
Quadrant needs to
And
be
then
on.
we click enter to
We
escape
select the
from that
quadrant of
command
the
bar.
circle. We go
At this
all
point,
the way down
my center line
until we hit
becomes one
that
piece.
hidden line.
When I click on it,
There
it's
we
just
create
one piece.
these two.
To prove
line
that to
from
you,
this point to this
I can
point.
just select it,
We
which
do
I
the
would
same
recommend
thing
everybody
the other
do,
side.
and just move it over.
Quadrants.
If the entire
all the way
piece
down,
moves
all
over,
the way
that
to
is
the
you're
hidden line.
you're
We
perfect. You're
snap
set
to that,
correctly.
and
That's
then
what
we
you
snap
want.
to the
So
bottom.
make sure you have
Now I
that.
can just
I'll walk
delete these
around and
two
make sure everybody
lines
has
because
that.
they were just used for reference.
So we have this p-edit
And it
line
gives me
set up
that
already.
slot.
It's one actual
Cool.
line. We know the thickness of this
We do the
material,
same thing
which we showed a dimension
with
of
this circle,
0.52.
except it has two
So
circles.
we're gonna create a
so we
circle.
do
It doesn't matter exactly where we place
So
it.
instead of doing
It's
each
just
line
for
separate, I'll
reference.
show you a
We create
little
a circle
trick. So
near
select
this
quadrant,
polyline.
we go all the way down.
And the
create that line
diameter
like I showed you.
is
And instead
0.52.
of making, drawing each
Or if you
line
want, you can do the
separately,
radius,
what
which
we
is
can do is
0.26.
just
But
select this
I
line
do
that we need
0.52
to
because that is our
make
diameter.
copies of, pretty much. We use
The
our
next step
copy command,
will be to use the
and we copy
revolve
it from one
command.
quadrant
If
to the
you are
next,
not in 3D
to the next, to the
3D
next.
modeling or 3D
And that
basics,
creates
it's alright.
the whole bottom
Well,
face.
you don't have to be because this is pretty
Again,
simple. We
I
can just go
created a
to the
line.
draw command,
I have
draw
this
tab,
one segment
modeling,
which I need,
and there
I
is
use the
a
copy
revolve
command
option.
where I copy it from
Actually,
its
sorry.
original position.
Sorry,
The
this
first
is a
quadrant,
mistake of
the
mine.
second quadrant.
Sweep
They're all
command, that's the
perpendicular
one we
as
want to
well,
work.
so.
Revolve would actually revolve
And
around
again,
an
I delete
axis.
this
Sweep
reference
is
line 'cause
actually
I
you
no
take an
longer need
object
that.
and you sweep it through a
The
path.
thing about this
So our
part is we
object
need
is our
to
circle,
edit it
our path is this
to show
polygon.
that the actual
So again,
depth
draw,
of one
tab,
of the
modeling,
one hole is only
sweep.
0.44.
Also, you can type it in,
So you can see
but
this is
that's a lot of work.
0.44, and this is the
So we
regular,
do the sweep command.
diameter hole.
The command bar will
So if I
ask you
dimension this
specify
out,
what select
we'll go
object to
annotate.
sweep. So this is the object that we're
Where
going to be
your
using to sweep, which is
0.44,
going to be
just
our
like I said.
circle.
Now to
So
do
we
that
select
part,
our
we will
circle,
offset that bottom line.
Then we click enter
0.44.
because we do not
So
want
we
to
go to
select
offset command,
any more
type
objects.
in
So we click enter,
0.44,
and your
enter.
next option will
Select
be
that
a
baseline,
sweep
we
path.
offset up.
So
you
at
have to
this
make sure your
point, our
mouse
path
moves
is
up,
our p-edit
otherwise it's
line,
gonna
polyline
offset
edit
down. So you wanna
line.
go up and
So we
click.
select that line.
That's
and
a
it
reference line
automatically
where we can
creates
now
a
trim out the
3D
things
object.
we don't need.
Very
Again,
simple,
trim,
very
select
easy.
entire object,
To get a better
enter,
visual view,
and we start trimming.
to get a better visual view of this, I would recommend we go to
I believe that's what we're looking
View,
for. I might have
change
made
it
a
from
mistake by
2D
trimming
wire
this
to
area.
conceptual, where you will
Check
see
that.
your
Yep,
3D
I
object.
did. That's alright. So I'm just going to
Next
delete
step,
one of
after
them
we have our
and
3D
just stretch
object,
the other. So
we can
select the
delete
object,
these 2D blue
select
lines.
the blue point,
We actually
and
don't
stretch
need
it till I
these.
snap onto
So we have a 2D
left,
design and we have a 3D design.
hidden line,
Exactly
vertical
what we're
hidden
looking
line.
for. We have
Now
our
the
layers
question
set
is,
up,
do
so
I
we
need
do have a center
the
line.
lines in between here?
And now what we need to do is go
Technically,
to our title block.
no.
If you used your title block,
So
I hope
need
you
to trim
did.
these out.
If
So
not,
again,
you're in
trim,
trouble.
enter,
Anyways, we got our
trim out
title
these
block. You
parts.
can't see the object. That's
And I
okay.
need to change this
Maybe the
line
viewport is
layer
not pointing in
to
the
our
right
hidden
direction.
layer. So
That
I
happens a
select the
lot.
object,
So we're going to double
I
click
change it from
inside our
object
viewport.
to hidden layer,
And we're going to either type in,
giving
we can
me
type in
the
zoom,
exact
Z,
hidden lines I
enter,
need for this part.
A, enter for all, or extents.
The nice part
Both
about
should work.
this, once I
It
have
brings
this
out the
part
drawing.
complete,
Be in the corner,
there was a reason
you
why I
move
did
it,
this part,
you
not
move it,
this
so
one
that
first.
you will see
Because I
only
use
the
this as a
2D drawing. We
reference.
don't want to see the
I'm gonna
3D
select
drawing
these
yet, because
lines,
we want to see the 3D
all
in
of
like a
I'm gonna
isometric
copy
view.
it from the
To
midpoint
do,
of this
and
hidden
if you
line.
want this to be into
From
scale,
there, I
somewhat
copy
that
it
if somebody had
to
a
the
ruler
midpoint of
and
this
had it
line,
printed out, they could actually
giving
measure
me
it out. You can change
exact
down here
cutout
your
that I'm looking
viewport
for.
scale to like
In addition
1
to
to
that,
1.
I also need to create these two
Or
hidden
if your
lines
drawing
for
was
this circle
bigger,
that
you can
go all
change
the
it
way
to something
through,
different.
like shown
But
here.
if you use this
I can
scale
either stretch
system,
these
it's going to
out all
allow
the way
them
down,
to
or I
scale
can
it
do the same
correctly
thing I did previously,
from
which
your
is select
drawing,
these two,
printed drawing.
copy
I'm going to stretch this
from
viewport
midpoint
down because
to
it's too
midpoint.
big, because I want to place
In
a
doing so, I
3D
double layered it, so that's why
viewport
this
in
layer is
here.
not shown as
To
hidden.
do that, I
I
stretch
can
that
just
down,
delete those
and
two
I'm going to
lines
go
I don't need.
to View,
And that gives me the correct
Viewport,
design, even though
New viewport.
previous one only shows
I'm going to create a single or
like
active
a section
single
view
viewport.
from
I'm going to just create a
center,
box
which is
from
incorrect.
this endpoint
But we do have to
to
draw
this
these two
endpoint,
lines out here.
at which
So
I'll
again,
double click
we
inside.
use the line
I
command.
move so I
We
can see
follow
the
through with
3D
this
object
line to
only.
give us
I change
a
my
path.
view to like an isometric corner view.
And we draw 1,
That's not the best
We do
one.
the
So I'm
same
gonna rotate
thing,
it
the second
around.
part. So we follow this line,
I like
move our
that.
mouse slowly,
Doesn't have to be this shape.
and
this
we
way.
snap
Oops.
on to the other.
Undo.
Surprisingly,
That looks
this
good.
is the middle point of that 2-inch because it's
You can
1
play
inch
around
back.
to get
So
what
what
you're
we could have
what you
done
prefer.
easily
Actually,
was just select the midpoint.
right there's a view cube,
Just draw a
or you can go to
cross
your
line.
view and play
Midpoint
with
from the
these,
outside,
or you
not
can
the
hold
inside.
Control
Inside is
and
different,
rotate it
so
around
make sure you
until you
select
have the
from
right
inside,
view.
from the outside.
We put our title
That
information
gives
in.
us all the hidden
Double
lines
click
that
to
we
change any
need.
things you like.
At least I believe so.
If you are missing data, text, what you
next
can go
part
to
we
is
do have to create
annotate,
center lines
do a
to
multiple
show
text.
where our circles are located.
You just create a box following the
To
box
do
that's
that,
provided,
we use
and then you
our
type in
layer
whatever
tab
you
here,
like.
and we change it to center lines. And this
And that
time
will
we're going
fit
to play
that
around
box. If
with
it's
the sizing.
not in the right position, of course
It's
you can
based
use
on
your move
preference. There
command
is no
to
specified
move it
distance. So
a little
we
bit
draw a
lower.
line.
But
I'm
be
gonna start
careful if
from
you
the
have
front
O-snap
view.
on, it's going
I'm
to
gonna
cause some
select that
problems.
midpoint. Gonna
And
draw
that
a line
concludes
that's
this
a little bit
project.
longer than the entire object. Select it, and I stretch it up to. Make sure you have ortho on, otherwise it won't work. From there, I copy it over from the midpoint to the midpoint, creating those two center lines. In addition, I can also copy it over here because I also need a center line. Since I have those, I'm going to create two more X's here. One is a full line which starts from the midpoint all the way across, like so. Again, you have to stretch it to overextend the object, otherwise people will get confused of what that line is. We do the same thing with the circles, so we overextend and we select the blue point and stretch it out. We make a copy from the midpoint of the circle to the center of the circle to the center of the circle, creating our complete object. We might not have time to go into the 3D